I've survived 9 years, nearly 10 years of perimenopause on and off HRT throughout the whole experience. I've just come off HRT completely about 3 months ago because I believe that I am now postmenopausal. I am through perimenopause, and I thought it would be a good time to come on here and share with you five of the lessons that I learned during pretty much 10 years of perimenopause. I'm sharing five with you. There are so many more I could be sharing, and they're not medical advice. It's just my personal experience, and it might not be the lessons that you would expect to hear. So, lesson number one is to trust yourself. This is probably actually the most important lesson to learn while you're going through perimenopause is to trust yourself. And I know it sounds really simple, but it can actually be a really, really hard thing to do. Throughout this journey, you're going to encounter more self-doubt probably than you ever have in your life. You're going to have so much conflicting information thrown at you. Your body is going to be going through so many changes. You're going to be experiencing such a wide range of symptoms. You're potentially going to be fobbed off by the medical profession multiple times. You may feel like you're losing your grip, like you're going crazy, like all this, there's so much stuff that can be going on. And amidst all of this noise, the most reliable compass that you have is your inner voice. So through perimenopause, it's like an opportunity really to really deepen your self-trust, your self-leadership, to tap into your inner voice, your intuition, and really learn to trust it above all others. If a doctor is telling you you've got to go on this HRT, or you've got to change your HRT, or you've got to just, and in yourself, you're thinking, this isn't right for me, speak up for yourself. It's your body. If you want to navigate your menopause, your perimenopause how you want, then you trust yourself in your journey. There were several times in my journey where I've really just had to release and trust myself, and it's never really been wrong, you know what I mean? Whereas actually, if I've pushed myself to follow what other people have said, then I can end up going astray. So I know that trusting yourself can feel really difficult. So I've got 3 tips for you to help you sort of flex your trust muscle during your perimenopause. And the first one is to actually quiet the external noise. Take time every day to completely disconnect. You may find during perimenopause that you're more susceptible to overwhelm, that too much external stimulation can really set off your cortisol levels and throw you out of balance, and things that may have had zero impact on you before start to impact on you quite a lot. So really disconnecting from that noise and giving yourself space to tune out and tune into your feelings every single day is going to serve you well, learning to trust yourself. The second tip for trusting yourself is to keep a self-affirmation journal. So throughout your perimenopause journey, every single time your intuition was right, every single time you listened to yourself and it paid off, write it down in this self-affirmation journal, and it'll help you really recognize patterns and build that trust in yourself. Confidence requires proof, right? So give it the proof it needs. Keep a note of every single time you did something against the grain, but it ended up being the best thing for you. And then when you're in moments of self-doubt, go back and read these self-affirmations to reflect on the fact and to reaffirm the fact that you can actually trust in yourself. The third tip for trusting yourself is to develop a pause and reflect practice. So you're going to get so much advice during your perimenopause journey. Everyone seems to have something to say about it, which is great. It's good that everyone's talking about it. But before acting on any advice, before acting on anyone's recommendations, before taking on board what people are saying, just pause for a moment and ask yourself, does this feel right for me? Does this feel like the right thing for me? And remember, you are in control. You get to decide what's right for you and take action from that place. So don't let everyone else's opinions cloud your judgment. You've got to learn to trust yourself. That's lesson number one. Lesson number two, these are all quite hard to do as well. And I've been in perimenopause for 9 years. So this is stuff that I've been working on for 9 years. It's not like I just waved a magic wand and it all happened, you know what I mean? So use this video, take some notes, and then use this as your focus for your own personal growth and evolution over the next however many years your perimenopause lasts. Lesson 2 is to let it flow. So this one is the difficult one for me because I'm a bit of a control freak. But fundamentally, the period of your life of perimenopause, I would say, is probably the most internal and external changes as a woman that you go through in your entire life. It changes how you see yourself, the way you express your emotions, the way you think and reflect about your entire life, your relationships, your identity is shifting and changing during this pretty volatile time in your life, really, this time of intense change. So if you're trying to control it all, it only makes things so much harder. So trying to keep a really tight grip on everything actually creates resistance, because when you're holding on like this, it's almost like you're telling yourself there's something wrong, right? I'm in fight or flight now. There's something wrong. I'm holding on really, really tight. And also when you're holding on really tight and trying to repress things and push things down, that actually comes from a place of shame, because you feel shame about expressing these things or being who you are or letting things flow. And shame is the lowest vibrational state we can be in. And trust me, during perimenopause, you're wanting to focus on being in the best vibrational state you can be in. So anything that brings out those feelings of shame, or if you're holding on so tight, you're creating this real resistance within yourself, it's not going to serve you. It's just not going to serve you. So what you want to be doing is embracing the flow. So learn to let things flow. So this is also, it's difficult during perimenopause because you're often at a heightened emotional state, and letting things flow over you can actually feel really, really tough because you're just being triggered a lot, let's face it, by a lot of stuff. But this is where releasing your grip and holding things lightly can really make the world of difference. Honestly, surrender, surrender, surrender. It's such a key thing to learn during menopause, is that you can surrender, you can hold things lightly, you can sit back, you can lean back, you can open your arms and open your hands and open your heart and your mind, and everything is going to be okay because you trust yourself. So it's time to allow yourself to be open to this flow of change that's happening within you, and accept that it's okay not to control everything. Now, I know this can be a challenge, so I've got 3 tips for you on how to let it flow and release control. First tip is any kind of breath work. Having a breathing technique that you can pull out of your bag when you're feeling overwhelmed, triggered, stressed, your cortisol has been spiked, you've got a fight or flight response, whatever it is, you need some tools in your tool bag that have to do with breath work. So whether that's deep breathing or box breathing or whatever works for you to really help you regulate your nervous system, get yourself out of that fight or flight response and be able to relax enough to release, to let things flow. Breathing is very important. The second tip is to visualize complete release. Imagine the stress and the overwhelm and your need for control is a physical weight. I always think it's like a boulder that I'm carrying on my shoulders. And you will probably feel that way sometimes during your perimenopause. You're carrying this heavy, heavy weight around with you, this stress ball and this emotional, turbulent ball with you. But visualize when you're feeling over, just visualize setting it down. Oh, even just doing that, like I feel so much lighter. I've been doing that for a long time, so it works pretty quickly. But this is a visualization technique. So do that every single time. Go, okay, I can just leave that over there. I don't need to be carrying that around with me everywhere. So visualize releasing the weight of it all, and you'll feel lighter and more able to let things flow. My third tip for letting things flow is to embrace gentle activity. One thing that I wouldn't recommend during menopause is intense cardio or weight training exercise. The reason being, I actually did do this during my menopause years and it never actually really served me. Yes, it was good to be stronger, my body got stronger, I got more muscly and I felt physically stronger. But actually, I think it was doing me a disservice because sort of heightened, intense exercise peaks your cortisol levels. It kind of it peaks everything. And what you're kind of looking for during your perimenopause is to balance everything. So for me, gentle exercise is much better. My favorite one is going for a walk outside. If you get outside, the more you can get outside during perimenopause, the better your mental state will be. So get outside for a walk every single day, do gentle exercise, stretching, yoga, Pilates. You don't even have to go to a class. YouTube is so full of amazing Pilates and yoga videos and stuff. So just find exercise that really help you cultivate this sense of release and flow and acceptance and all of the lovely gentleness that you do need during perimenopause. It is a stage in our lives where we do need to be a lot more gentle with ourselves. That's a whole other lesson. But lesson number 3 is about journaling. This is going to be a lifesaver. Whether you've journaled before or not, start journaling during perimenopause. And the reason I say that is during perimenopause, for whatever reason, your thoughts pick up a gear. Actually, they pick up about 1,000 gears. And you might find yourself with a head full of intrusive thoughts, unsupportive thoughts, amazing thoughts, breakthroughs, reminiscence from your childhood, reliving trauma, emotional breakthroughs, lessons learned. Honestly, I think perimenopause is the period of the most insane growth and evolution for women if you allow it to be that. You will process through so much stuff in this time. It's like 50 years of therapy in the space of a few short years. So journaling is really important. The idea being that journaling is your secret weapon to release all of these thoughts with safety. So release them safely without lashing out and driving yourself crazy, because there's stuff that you might think that is out of character for you, that's really fueled by your hormones, fueled by stress, fueled by reliving trauma, fight or flight response, whatever it is. And writing them down helps you get things out without saying things that you don't mean. Because remember, this is another important point to raise during your menopause. It is you. It's not them. It is you. During your menopause, remember that this is something I'm going through, and I don't need to vomit this all over everybody else, actually. No one else needs to suffer greatly because I'm going through this thing. This is where journaling is your best friend. Write down everything that's going on in your mind, do massive brain dumps every single day, just get it out. One of the things I like to do is once I've had a brain dump and I've just released all this stuff, I end up with a bit of a releasing ritual that I literally say, thank you, I release you. And I let it go. Close the book and I leave all of that stuff on the page, because what you don't want is all these thoughts growing and taking over your life. 3 tips for perimenopausal journaling. Have a morning and evening brain dump. So start or end your day with 10 minutes where you're literally just dumping what's going on in your head. No judgment, no filter, just get it out on a page. You're not trying to write a book, you're not trying to write for anyone else, you're just brain dumping out your thoughts. It's so powerful. If you've read The Artist's Way, she calls it morning pages, where you literally just free write whatever's going on in your brain, just get it out. The second one is if you're finding that a bit tricky, use prompts. Things like today I feel, or right now I'm struggling with, or what was on my mind today was, or the thing that disturbed me about what I thought today was, whatever it is, start with a prompt to kind of kick things off. That can often help. The third tip for journaling is to let it go. Like I said, that releasing ceremony. So once you've finished the journaling session, release it with a statement like, thank you, I release you. Close the book and let it go. Because you don't want to be storing up this stuff. It's toxic, right? Holding on to all of this stuff is toxic, so you need to let it go. Lesson number 4 is rest. During perimenopause, sleep can become a bit of a battleground. So rest becomes your best friend. And I know that resting can feel difficult to do when you've got a busy life, but it's absolutely essential, because what you're going through internally is a huge drain on your body's resources. So you're going to feel the need to rest more. Listen to yourself. Trust your body. When you need to rest, rest. During perimenopause, it's not a time when you can really, really push yourself to do things like you could before. After, you'll be able to again, there'll be periods of heightened energy and whatever during perimenopause as well. Embrace those. But when your body is telling you to rest, you have to rest. You have to rest. So what I like is like mini rests, because rest isn't just about the sleep you get in the night. Like I said, insomnia, perimenopause insomnia is real. So you're not always going to be able to get a full night's sleep like you used to be able to. I'm talking like power naps, quiet moments of complete nothingness, closing your eyes for a few minutes. Just these little things that you can do throughout the day just to kind of bring yourself back to center and just rest your whole self will make all the difference for you. So here's 3 tips for you on getting mini rests. Even if you're 9 to 5, if you're in the corporate world, whether you're working in an office, working from home, if you're a business owner, whatever it is, the power nap. Oh, embrace the power nap. We are all entitled to a lunch break, right? 20 to 30 minutes worth of rest in a day can completely change everything. So you don't even need to sleep, but you just need to sit with your eyes closed with nothing. No book, no podcast, no YouTube, no videos, no nothing. Just close your eyes 20 to 30 minutes. So creating a quiet zone. So finding a place that you can sit and close your eyes and just breathe with no screens, no distractions. So having this sort of safe, quiet zone, that's one of mine there, that chair. I will just go and sit in that chair in the corner of this room with the door closed. Just close my eyes. It's not even about meditating, it's just closing your eyes and just letting it all go for 10 minutes of the day. It will change your life. The next tip is to practice mindfulness. So close your eyes, focus on your breathing, and visualize calming scenes. Visualize, one of my favorite ones is, because I've got this like little fantasy, I don't know if this is anyone else, I've got this fantasy about living in the forest in Sweden in a log cabin all on my own. And during my menopause, I can't tell you that this little fantasy became a daily obsession. So whenever I could grab a few minutes and close my eyes, I was in my log cabin in Sweden, either in the spring, sitting in the field, and there were wildflowers everywhere, and there was a beautiful lake in front of me, and I could hear the breeze in the trees, and my beautiful red painted log cabin was behind me, or it was a winter scene and the fire was crackling and I was sitting by the window with hot chocolate. Find your place, wherever that is, and visualize it enough that you can go there quite easily. Because even just a few minutes of being in your calm place can completely shift your energy, revitalize you, and get you back on track. So lesson number 5 is about connecting wisely. When you're navigating perimenopause, there's going to be a strong desire to seek out information and talk to others. I mean, Googling your symptoms can become a full-time job if you're not careful. But connect wisely is what I would say, because too much disparate information can be overwhelming. And what you're wanting to do is avoid overload, right? You can see throughout all of my lessons, you're trying to avoid as much of this as you can and get as much of this as you can. Because trust me, there's going to be enough of this happening on its own. You need to find this part. And all of what I'm teaching you when I'm sharing with you today is to help you find this. So in terms of talking to a lot of different people, be wary, because everyone's journey is totally different. And sometimes it can be comforting to hear other people's stories, but it can also be scary, it can be misleading, it can make you feel a certain way that you don't need to be feeling when you're navigating your own journey of menopause. Again, this goes back to trusting yourself. So not everyone's story, not every symptom is going to apply to you. So choose reliable sources and trusted people. Find 1 or 2 people who you trust and who understand that your focus is on positive and moving forward and supporting each other through it rather than focusing on the symptoms and the negativity, and find like just literally just one or two trusted sources for information rather than endless Google searching. One thing I will say is to know that basically every single symptom you're going to feel over the next however many years can be considered a menopause symptom. I've Googled some stuff where I literally thought I was dying, and it's like, oh, this could be perimenopause. Everything, the list of symptoms for perimenopause is like 150, 160 or something. Like anything you're going through, it can literally be perimenopause. You don't need to Google it. You're going to be okay. Trust that you're going to be okay. You know what I mean? So you don't need to be Googling everything. So 3 tips for connecting with care are, like I say, identify 1 or 2 trusted confidants who are on the same wavelength as you, people who uplift you and encourage you and don't dramatize things. I don't know if you're a drama person, you like drama people. I'm not a drama person. I do not like high drama people. And like I say, when you're going through menopause, perimenopause, there's enough drama. You don't need people who are really dramatic around you, in my mind. So those people who you have in your inner circle, yeah, I would try and keep the drama to a minimum if I was you. The next one, like I said, is pick one main source of health information. So find a reliable, trustworthy authority site or book or an expert or a book that you can read and stick with that. Don't seek endless opinions. Find someone who you resonate with, even if it's a menopause coach or a menopause mentor. These women have studied menopause, they know a lot about menopause, health website or whatever it is. Find a trusted source that you feel fits with what you're going through and just stick to that. So try not to have too much information overload. The next one here is to limit symptom chatting. So avoid getting stuck discussing your symptoms, Googling your symptoms, picking through your symptoms. This goes back to trusting and letting it flow. It's going to happen. You don't need to understand every single micro element of your perimenopause. Focus on conversations on positive aspects and coping strategies. So don't fixate on your symptoms. Perimenopause can feel like a very destabilizing time in a woman's life, but it can also just be the biggest growth and evolution portal you will ever step through. The tips I've given you today will hopefully help you learn how to embrace your perimenopause rather than struggling against it or fighting against it, because really, it can feel scary at times. It can feel isolating. It can feel like you're literally losing your mind. But if you just follow these 5 lessons that I've shared with you today, you will be able to navigate safely through your perimenopause. So I hope you found that useful today. I hope this video finds who it needs to find. If you've got any questions or you'd like any videos on anything specifically or any other tips on anything, let me know. Like I say, I've literally just come out of menopause. Let me know your experiences, any tips that you have on navigating your menopause in the gentlest, most loving way. And make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel where I share things about lifestyle, health, and living a prosperous life. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care of yourself because you need it right now. And I'm sending you so much love. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.